for 3 years. And in order to like take care of that income, I paid for the whole lease up front. And I charged it to the consulting firm that, anyway, in any case, this is why I did it. And I paid the whole lease up front for 3 years. And then signed all the paperwork, and 2 weeks later they called me back and they said, the paperwork's no good. You got to come back and sign the paperwork again. Well, I'm traveling, I'm going all over the place, and it took me a couple weeks to get back down there. So I go back down, I sign the paperwork, and it's no big deal to me, but I think they might have been a little bit irritated because it took me 2 weeks to get back down there. But anyway, I signed it up, I signed the paperwork again, and everything's cool, I go away. A week later, they call me back and they said that paperwork's not any good either. Something else is wrong. I guess they're not used to people paying for the lease up front, and things get messed up. So they called me a week later and they said, the paperwork's not right. You got to come out here and you got to sign this paperwork. And I said, well, I'm traveling, so I'll get there when I get back. And it wasn't. But again, it's not a problem. I did not take offense. I'm going to tell you, even though it seemed odd, I didn't take offense. I'm fine. Well, the next day after they called me, the general manager of Nissan showed up here to get the paperwork signed and kind of was aggressive with Jenny about getting in to see me, and Jenny says, well, he's not here. And the guy goes, his car's sitting in the parking lot here. He's traveling. Well, now I get a little bit offended about that, and then I thought, well, Jenny can take care of herself. I mean, I don't need to be upset about this. Well, then when I got back that night, actually the night that the guy came here, but the guy shows up the next morning. I'm at the Y playing racquetball. The car's gone from the parking lot, right? And he tries to get in again, talk to Susie, right? So he wants to get in again to get the paperwork signed. And I'm not here. And he goes, well, his car's gone. No, he must be. So all of a sudden I get a voicemail that says, are you trying to avoid us? We need to talk to you right now. I don't know why you're doing this. And Eric was with me in the restaurant when I got the voicemail, and I got upset. I took it badly. But again, I want to point out, now see that, yes, now it seems absurd that it would happen this way, and it's easy to get impatient with them. And also, as I said before, it's really easy for me to get you to go along with me in this, and you're saying, oh yeah, you should be a little bit upset about that. So I call the guy up, and the first thing he says was, well, it seems like you're trying to avoid us. I said, is this really the direction you want to go with this conversation? And he says, well, if I wouldn't have left that voicemail, would you have called me back? And I said, I'll be down there in a little bit. Get your manager. I want to talk to your manager. He says, my manager's in Mexico. And I said, oh, you mean he's traveling? Yeah, I said, well, I want to talk to his manager then. Okay, he says, all right. I said, I'll be down there in a little bit. So I go down there and I'll see, now here it is. I've totally lost the moment. It's a beautiful day. The sun's shining just kind of like it is out there. I'm not noticing. I'm upset. And not only am I upset, but I am focused on getting retribution. And I mean, that sounds extreme, but I mean, anytime these thoughts are going on, that is what's happening. I'm going to go in there and give them a piece of my mind. And it's not about peace of mind, right? So I go in and I stalked through that guy's office, and I mean, it looked like I was going to jump up on the desk and kick him in the head. I mean, just if you can get a picture of it. I mean, that's what, I look pretty serious. And he starts apologizing profusely. But it wasn't because, he wasn't apologizing because he was, well, maybe a little bit because he was intimidated. But he was apologizing because he talked to his manager's manager, and that guy told him, do anything you need to do to make that man happy. And so he said, I'm going to give you a free car wash. He says, your first oil changes. He says, all this stuff. And I said, everything's okay. As soon as he said he was sorry for what he did, it totally, I was like, so I'm easy. I'm like really easy. I'm totally disarmed now. I'm not going with it at all. I'm fine. Everything's good. I got the apology. Everything is good. I signed the paperwork and I leave. Last week I'm in LA and I look at my phone, and the telephone number from Anderson Nissan is on my phone, and he has left a voicemail message for me. And I'm thinking, I cannot believe that this guy's calling me about that lease document again. This is going to be the fourth time I'm going to sign the lease document. And then sanity crept into my mind for a brief moment. And I said, just relax. What's the big deal? What do you want to get upset about? Just go with the flow. Go with the flow. So I listened to the voicemail. He says, I really need to see you. He said, but I want you to know it's good news. So this is so now you could say like cause and effect. Actually, the voicemail was left before I calmed myself down, but it seemed to me that calming myself down, the voicemail said good news. So I go out there when I get back, and he says, I need you to sign new lease documents. But he said, the reason you have to sign new lease documents is I told the Nissan people the story about what happened, and they went back and they moved your credit rating up 2 notches, and so I have a check here for you for $2,160. So I said, where do I sign? And then as I'm leaving, I said, I just want you to know, due to this check, you could call me a couple more times to sign more lease documents. I'm fine. So here's how I want to take it. I want to take it like when I calm myself down, I got $2,000. It's a lesson. It's a lesson for the day. All right. Now, most of you know that when we talk here about God and about us being a part of God, we're really not seeing God as being like this big guy in the sky, or big gal, for that matter. We're not seeing God in an anthropomorphic way as being like this superhuman kind of form. We're thinking and we're talking about God as being the whole of creation, all, and as in the meditation, the all of everything. That God is all there is, and that we are part of that all there is. But sometimes it's helpful. Sometimes it's calming to use symbols in our meditation, and it may be healing to have a sense that as we're going down a difficult path, that like God is holding our hand. And I mean, it could be a helpful. It can be very calming to have a vision of God as being this loving parent sitting in a chair, and then that we're the child climbing up on God's lap and kind of getting lost in the folds of the robe. I don't know why I see her sitting there with a robe, but in any event, but we need to remember that that's a symbol. That's a symbol, and if it's helpful, that's great. If it's helpful, we should do it. We should use those symbols. We realize that God is much more than that. But this meditation that's in here, and it's actually the meditation for the 1st of March, I wrote this a number of years ago, and I just stuck it in here because I thought it was good for this particular talk. But I'm going to read that, and that's what we're going to end with. I'm a host for spirit. God took up residence in my body. I can't remember when, but I feel her there now. It is a joyous knowing. Maybe he just moved in recently, or probably she has always lived in me and I didn't realize it. In any case, I realize it now and it makes me happy. I have decided to be a good host, so I'm fixing up the place. I'm taking care to take in the proper amount of quality fuel. I'm exercising and I'm getting enough rest. And I also continue to feed my mind by reading, and sometimes I give the old boy a treat by taking us out to a movie. I'm having some really good conversations with her during my prayers, and he seems to be talking back quite a bit now. I'm so happy to have the company. And I don't have so much fear anymore that he might move out. I actually think she's here for keeps, but that doesn't mean I'm going to take anything for granted. So I'm going to continue to be a good host. Thank you.